Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tell America, the American Veteran. Tonight, Tell America salutes the men and women of World War II. Hello, my name is James E. Yaney, along with Sergeant William Hullinger, Corporal Dale Parrish, and Gunner's Mate First Class, our special guest, John Pequignot. It's been over 65 years since Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, and for the next 4 years, America's principles will be challenged by nations who are opposed to our way of life and, most of all, our freedom. After 61 years, a group of Marines are making a pilgrimage back to Iwo Jima, where they fought and died for an airstrip that would lead the way to the surrender of Japan and the end of World War II. We'd like for you to join us as we join these Marines in going back.
Glad to be here.
John, tell us what your best recollection of Iwo Jima was.
Utter chaos is my description of it. I was on the first wave that went in, and 25 corpsmen, and I landed on an LCVP, and we were bogged down there on the beach because there was a strip of land probably 6 to 8 feet wide, and then from there on up it was a straight shot up cliff, and CBs and other Marines were coming ashore. We had no place to put them. You couldn't scale the cliffs with machinery or anything, and it wasn't until like some 4 or 5 days later that the CBs were able to bring in bulldozers and hack away at that wall, and then they finally got earth movers in there to put up a ramp type entry onto the island itself, and it was really rough going.
They told us that the beaches were like no other beaches in the world at Iwo Jima. I guess it had something to do with the volcanic ash.
I believe it was, because anywhere you stepped on the island, even off the beach, it was just like stepping into sort of like dry quicksand, and the strong odor of sulfur was in the air at all times.
I see.
They called it the Sulphur Islands, and it was really a smelly place, and most of the guys you talked to there found it so bad, and they said, well, why don't we just let the Japanese have it, let them suffer with it. But they needed the air strip. There were 2 airstrips there, and they needed it for the B-29s to land and have repairs and to rearm to hit Japan with.
I see. Bill, you've seen the movie, the one Clint Eastwood made. How does it compare with what we saw tonight?
Well, The Flags of Our Father, the movie he produced, and it's out now, pretty well. I mean, you go by the man that wrote the book, Flags of Our Father, because he was there. He was one of them that helped put the second flag up, because they wanted a bigger flag than what it was, and I'm sure, like John says, that it's quite a place. It's very barren. It has to be the way it is, and I commend John being able to be on there and do what he did for the wounded veterans that was there. I can't imagine, you know, never getting off that beach for how many hours, John?
Oh,
Were you stuck there for
we
a
were
day?
right on the beach for a day and a half without moving 2 or 3 square feet away from
No
where we
kidding.
were.
Vehicles probably had a hard time with it.
There was just no place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Tell us the big challenge about, a lot of people don't know about the 2 flag raisings. What was the difference between the 2, and why was it so?
Well, I wasn't there for the flag raising, but I heard from many sources that the first flag raising was a posed one.
Mm-hmm.
It was posed by certain Marines, and then later well, I guess it was that same day, they couldn't seem to come to terms with it. And Joe Rosenthal was an Associated Press photographer at that time, was there, and a group of Marines came up, and they decided to put the flag up, and he watched them bring the flag up, and he caught that memorable picture, unposed or anything like that, and that was the world famous one.
Historic. Dale, what did you think about the flag raising? What was your feelings about it?
We saw it. We saw the monument out in Washington D.C. and I was real impressed with it.
Yeah.
Well, you
It's-
know, Jim, the first flag was only like a 3x5. That's all they had at the time. When they put that one up, that was the original. But they wanted a larger one. And according to the movie, a congressman wanted that first one, but the captain or the major or whoever was running that group, he said it ain't his, it's ours. He can have that other one we put up now. You bring that back to me, and that's what they did.
I guess Rosenthal was pretty popular from taking that picture.
Oh,
What about the flag raisers? You know, for instance, I guess, according to what I read, that within a few days they had a city set up of 50,000, would hold 50,000 soldiers. But what about these caves? Tell us about what you know about these caves that the Japanese were in.
Well, I don't know very much about it. I should tell you that I was only there 4 days, and I feel like I should tell you the story relative to my short stay there.
Definitely.
Okay. After we gained some foothold after 2 days and got up onto higher ground, we were told to be on the lookout for small concrete bunkers and these scrub bushes that the Japanese had sitting on top of wooden barrel heads and things like that, where they could come up out of these tunnels and just raise these things up and look around and do what they had to do. Well, I was out there on my hands and knees crawling around there, and I felt something that felt like a concrete wall or something of that nature, and I was going around the corner, and I thought, shoot, this is one of those pillboxes, and I was planning on crawling back to where I came from, and all of a sudden I was jumped by 4 Japanese soldiers. They all had bayoneted rifles, and they could have killed me instantly. Why they didn't, I don't know. But they threw down their guns, and I had a 55-pound pack of medical gear on my back, and this is what they were after. They proceeded to try and rip this thing off of my back, and during the scuffle, my arm got caught in the webbing of this backpack, and one guy stood on my hand, and they continued to pull that off of there, and I felt my shoulder dislocate. I mean, it was clear around the back here. And these guys ripped that thing off my back, and they went off